to the Bubble API Showdown.
Woo.
Highly anticipated. We got Johan, Nick, and Prashant here.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do this, guys. All right, so let's. Unfortunately, we lost Sam. I know that I called out the four contestants, but Sam is having a network issue. So I don't know if he's going to be able to join us. If he jumps on before we get started, then I can, we'll loop him in. But I think for the most part, it's probably going to be the three of us. All right, so I guess we can start out just like we'll pick the challenge first, right? We've got a list of 8 different API challenges that we're going to put into a random selector, and just with that, whatever comes out, these 3 guys are going to pick which API they want to work with, and then build a user interface around it and some functionality and the way that they want to do it. So it's very like open-ended, right? Like it's interesting to see which direction you guys go in here. There's the challenge is pretty vague, so there's like any different number of ways that you can do this. All right, I guess we can start. Let me share my screen, and we'll get this thing going. All right, cool. Someone do a countdown so it's fair.
I'll do it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right.
Right. Create a searchable list of clothing items with price, size, and item description. This is an interesting one. I've never worked with a clothing API. This is going to be an interesting one to see. I have no idea what a provider for clothing would be.
There's probably
it's gonna be interesting.
We might have to pick another fucking topic. I don't know if this
no.
work, but
We stick with this one.
All right, done. I like the dedication. All right, let's. So I think so. Maybe we should start. Like, give it. Should we start at? So we 60 minutes.
Okay.
We can start at 35. I know we're all in different time zones here, but I'm at 9:33 right now. So we'll give it 2 minutes. Start exactly at 9:35, and then you guys can start just taking a look for the API that you want to work with, and then we'll and then the time will start at 35, and we'll go to 10:35 Eastern, and whatever you have in that, it will be what we're judged by. Small butter roll, what's up? Thanks for joining us.
It's good.
Is anybody getting an echo?
Every once in a while I catch it, but not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm good on my end.
You guys have any ideas of what APIs you're gonna go after?
Not at all.
Taking a look at Rapid API right now. This something.
On
that you
Rapid
could go
API looking there.
Yeah, so there's like a ton of endpoints that you could get. I'm just seeing something if I could get for clothing.
Okay.
Yeah, Rapid API may be the way to go.
OGBTV. Is that Amy? Amy, what's up? I think that's Amy. Pokemon API? Not sure. Pokemon API. That would have been interesting.
Pokemon.
It is Amy. Thanks for jumping on. All right. Programmable web, I guess. The Rapid API. And I guess if you just Google clothing APIs, that's probably something.
That's where I'm gonna start.
All right, we're at 9:35. You're off.
All right.
Start searching. Everything's fair game from
Awesome.
here. So, Amy, what we're doing is we're doing a. Oh wow, Sam just got here. Sam.
Yeah, good.
Sam, you're here,
Let's
buddy.
go.
All right, listen, Sam, you're a little late, but you're
Yeah,
you're
I've been
on.
I've been
You're
I've
right
been
on
following
time.
on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. So, you know the challenge is to create a searchable list of clothing items with price, size, and item description. Right, so you can
Alright.
connect to any API of your choice. We have 60 minutes. We're going to be judged on the following criteria of who can successfully connect to the API endpoint first, right? So that authentication piece. We're going to have the presentation. I'm pulling this up on my screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. Presentation of the display, right? You're going to come up with any user interface that presents the data, the clothing information, and you're going to get a score of 1 to 5 for that. And then the functionality is going to be the searchability or the filterability of the data. So any kind of functionality that you want to build. So really, you can go in a lot of different development directions here. It's a very open-ended challenge to see what you come up with. The first thing that we're doing here is just picking the APIs, right? So none of these guys knew what API exactly they were going to be working with because they didn't know which challenge was going to come out. So it's really 60 minutes to review API documentation, authenticate, create a quick display, and get it to be filterable. Right? It's a lot to do in 60 minutes. It's a lot to do. Let's see. Let's take a look at some screens here.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna check in with Prashant first. Sam, you made it just in the nick of time, my friend. That was good timing. All right.
Okay, I guess I might have got something there.
Prashant, did you already connect to the API?
Yeah, it was like just a single line, so I think that's not much. But
Well, all right. So we've already got a milestone here. Prashant in the first 3 minutes, not even has initialized his API call. So I gotta mark that down as the first to initialize. There's 2 bonus points for Prashant right out of the gate. Has anyone else connected?
Yeah.
I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
All right. Sam, when you can, just share your screen with me.
Alright.
Now, and I will say this too. I think we can do help from the chat. Amy's a programmer, so she knows this stuff. So if we can poll the chat, if we see if you're having a hard time authenticating, and I'll pull up your screen. So I think that's we got a few lifelines here to work with.
Okay, I'm in the API. Just authenticated it.
All right, Johan, second one to authenticate. I'm going to switch over to Johan's screen now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the endpoint I want, but
He's authenticated. I guess probably even leaving the authentication off might be, if that's an option with the endpoint that you're working with, not having any user authentication would probably be the easier way to go. But you can see this is what using the Bubble API connector looks like. You get you get a response, and then you've got all of these different. Bubble treats these as columns, right? And you can specify what do you want here? Do you want to treat this as a number, a text, yes, no? So it's pretty easy to work with, especially if you're familiar with Postman. Like the Bubble API connector is pretty. It doesn't get much easier, I think, when it comes to APIs than what the Bubble API connector does. It's pretty robust. REST APIs in specific. I think I've done a couple of SOAP APIs, but it was not as easy. And I've also worked with some XML. It's much easier to do with JSON. Amy, have you been checking out Bubble? Because I know you were starting to you have an app idea that you're building, and you were checking out Bubble. Have you been looking into how are you finding it? All right, I'm gonna check with Johan's screen. Let's pull up Nick's screen. Everyone seems to
Oh
still
god,
be.
yeah, I'm not good with setting up these APIs.
We're gonna check. Yeah, that's okay, man. It's gonna be a few attempts
Yeah, this is
before
where I
you.
get all. It's the authentication piece. It's just the most difficult for me.
That kills me every time.
By the way, has anyone gotten an API? What do you call it? Uh, what do you call it? An API, any API. I mean, I'm struggling to get one API to connect with.
Maybe someone in the chat can help us out here. Is there a clothing endpoint or clothing API? Here you go, Sam. We got one. It's called. Well, this one is for only clothing, right? So we're just doing clothing. It's a clothing line. Here's the challenge. Let me pull it up.
Wow.
The challenge is create a searchable list of clothing items with price, size, and item description. So it's got to be a clothing API. Any API, any provider that's giving out clothing information, that'd be helpful. So if you know of any, or if you can check it out on the chat, throw it into the chat. Sam, share your screen too when you get a chance, because yours, I don't have yours. I can't pull up your screen yet.
Okay.
There's so many buttons. I guess it's fine. I guess if you're used to, like, being in a coding environment like Visual Studio, yeah, there is a lot of buttons in Bubble. I like that. There's so many buttons. All right, Sam, I got you now.
I'm sharing my screen already. Okay.
Yep, we got you. We're seeing Restream.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, I think this is Andy. Andy, what's up, buddy? Got a root for my boy Nick in honor of our freelancer meetups, captained by John. It sounds like Andy. How's it going, Andy? I was trying to get Andy on here too. Andy's been in the game for a while. Yeah, XML, definitely hard. There was actually the reason I was using XML. It was a financial. It was with what was the name of it? Morningstar, and specifically it's a financial data provider, but they used a lot of old. The response gave you back like a zipped file, which there's no way to do that with Bubble. It was really difficult to work with. I couldn't do it with the Bubble API connector. I had to use, I think it was Integromat, now called Make. But there was no way to connect to that natively with the Bubble API connector. That was a bitch. That took me months to figure out how to do that. Try to instantly crash. Yeah, see, I think that Bubble's messaging again is fast and easy, and I think people are surprised when they realize how much there is to Bubble. And that's even if you do come in with a coding or programming background, there's still a lot to learn. You still kind of have to learn the way that Bubble does things. Yes, of course, the fundamentals of database, and if you're coming in with that knowledge, it's going to be easier. But there's still you have to figure out the Bubble way to do shit, which I think is kind of frustrating for people with a programming background, because you have to kind of unlearn some of the things that you would normally, used to do. Prashant, you have both coding and no code background, and I think people like you are like the ringing endorsement for the platform, because you choose to work with these tools even though you know how to code, because in certain situations it's just going to be easier, which I love to hear that. I think there's no better endorsement for the platform than that. I feel like I'm too lazy for Bubble. I don't know if that's true, Amy. I've seen you go pretty hard. I think it's probably just, but you should reach out to me too. I'll come over. Literally, I'll come over and we could do Bubble together. We'll figure that out. I wonder if has Josh taken a look at it too? All right, let's go back to some screens here. I see Johan already in the editor building out a display here. So he's obviously pretty confident that he's connected to the right API. He's probably putting some elements on the screen here. It's got a header. Now, very underrated, the header and footer on a page. We figured this out the last time, that the footer is you got to respect the footer. Just the header and footer just make the page look complete. That's true. Andy, I will happily come to Great Neck, and we could do some bubble together. I'm not that far from Great Neck. All right, ChatGPT. Let's talk about this because everyone's talking about this on Twitter. Let me get the screen out of there because we're covering our faces. ChatGPT. Now, this is the OpenAI. I think it was released like late November, but it's all anybody can talk about on Twitter now. And you literally put in you put in a question and it gives you a human answer. It's kind of crazy. It's a little scary about how human the answer is. It's not like Alexa where you just get almost a programmed response. It's really like even if you type in something general like how do you build a workflow in Bubble or what's wrong with my code and you put some code into the chat, it gives you like a few suggestions around like what possibly could be wrong. It's wild. It's wild. I just started like playing with it today. And I think it's great there's so many different applications. It's great for like, learning stuff, right? Even if you're just learning Bubble or learning code, and thinking of it from the technical perspective, like there's a lot you can do with it. Yeah. So, I mean, am I concerned that it's going to take our jobs? Maybe a little. Maybe a little. If they can get it to come up with such an accurate response, I mean, in a few years, who knows what it's going to do? It's going to be building all our shit for us. Josh digs the footer, huh? Yeah, the footer is kind of a it's underestimated. There's something about that footer. Last time, everyone put a lot of focus on the footer, and I would have just never thought to do that. It just brought the whole design together. I saw a post where someone took an article from Wikipedia and said rewrite it so I don't get flagged for plagiarism. Nice. ChatGPT will rewrite. So what is that going to do for like people that are in school? Like, are they just going to be able to write their whole essay with ChatGPT? It's an awesome way to cheat.
Doing that, by the way.
What's that?
We've already started doing that in college, by the way.
Oh man, the kids are going to have like a lot of options to just have AI write their reports for them. Maybe reports just go away because of this, because it's going to be too easy to plagiarize. Teachers are competing with AI software. That's wild. I didn't even think of that. All right, let's go back to some pages here. I'm going to check out Sam. What do we got here, buddy?
I'm still way logged out. I'm still trying to find.
So, someone gets Sam someone help Sam find an endpoint to connect to. Throw it in the chat. Somebody in the chat. I know there's some smart people in the chat. Help Sam find a clothing API endpoint.
So,
Can we get some clothing data in there? Can be anything. Macy's. I don't know. I don't think Macy's exposed their API. Probably more like, I don't know, an Amazon
I send
endpoint.
you an API through the private chat. I think it's... You should be able to see it.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the main chat too. X chat
That's the one I'm
GPT.
using.
All right, you know what? Fine, let's do that. Actually, Amy brings up a good point. Let's ask chat GPT which endpoint I can connect to. Let's see what comes up. That's actually an interesting. Let's see, chat. I'm going to share my screen in a second after I pull it up.
Okay.
All right. Chat. Why can't I find it now? Oh, here we go. All right, I'm logging in. All right. Let's see here. What is the best API for clothing information? You can't see what I'm typing because it's below the screen. Let me see if I can move these screens around a little bit. Does that work? That's probably too small. I don't know if you guys can see that. What's the best API for clothing information? Let's see what Chat GPT has to say. Oh, interesting. I'm sorry, but I'm not able to browse the internet to find information on APIs. I am a large language model trained by OpenAI. My knowledge is limited to the text that I have been trained on. I'm not able to provide a specific on API. Can you help? Can I help with anything else? All right. So, okay, we still have jobs for a little while, guys. We're okay here. There's some shit that Chat GPT can't do. Yeah, exactly. This is how I feel too. I feel a little more secure because I was a little nervous looking at this today. I'm like, well, what the hell am I? Who am I going to help with bubble stuff if ChatGPT is just going to answer everything for me? Yep, that's all it took. All right. Let's get back to who haven't I checked in with yet? I haven't checked in with Nick. I think I did. I think I've checked Prashant's screen.
I only got connected to an API.
Let's see, how many different options do I have here? I don't know. This seems too small. Small butter roll. Is this too small? I can't. I don't know how this comes through on like YouTube. It's too small for me to see, so I gotta imagine it's too small for you guys. Oh no, I really fucked it up. Oh boy. I gotta get back now. All right, let me stop sharing for a second. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to do it like this. Prashant, I think we're looking at Prashant's screen here, and he's going deep on the design. He's got
something. Let's see.
I'm surprised nobody went the atomic fusion or components route here. That's definitely what I would have done. I would have cheated. We did it. We didn't rule against it. Prashant's going pretty deep here on this display. I didn't think we were going to get to what time are we at? We're at 9:54. Still got plenty of time here. Looking good. Looking good, Prashant.
Thanks.
Johan, let's check you out. Same thing here. Going pretty deep on the design. Looks like he's got two panels here, two columns of information. I assume he's going to present the data in one of these, maybe choose from the left and present the details on the right. I don't know yet, but that's what I'm going to guess. ChatGPT will come online and take our jobs and then hire us back. I freaking hope so. I hope so. Small butter roll, Prashant going got pagination. Does he have pagination going? Oh, boy.
Planning on doing that.
Going for pagination. Going for pagination. All right. Nick's got some designs going here too. I gotta make this bigger. I regret messing around with the display now. I don't know how to get it back. Should mention there's a wide range of talent and, well, not talent, it's not the right word to say, but wide range of bubble experience on this call. Sam just got his Million Lab certification.
Woo! Nice.
Congrats on that, Sam. It's a tough
Thank
test.
you.
I failed that test, I think, 3 times before I passed it, and I had been using Bubble for like 3 years before that came out. So I'm not a good multiple choice test taker. But yeah, that test was tough. I kept getting the same questions wrong, which was interesting because I think it was either responsive or design, something to that effect. But yeah, that is I mean, you got to appreciate the fact that their Million Labs put something out there to certify Bubble developers. It's really the Wild West. I mean, it's hard to know what the standard is for what a professional. I don't even think there really is a standard for professional Bubble developers yet. Bubble is notoriously non-committal on what it is and what the certification will possibly look like. I think it's going to be kind of modeled after, the coding community on, like, this will be, certification for Bubble backend, and this will be a design certification. That's the way that I hope they do it, because I think it's hard to come up with a general certification for a Bubble developer just because the platform is so broad, and they're trying to combine so many different disciplines or development disciplines into one thing. Sam also turned me on to Joseph Brendan. Speaking of coding, I really like his tutorials. Drop that in the chat for anyone that's interested.
Oh, I mean, where are you getting all this information from?
Your Twitter profile. I stalk your Twitter profile.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I stalked everybody's Twitter profile. My boy Nick here, for example, live streamed cloning a McDonald's with Bubble Live, the McDonald's app.
I need to follow that up.
I'm gonna drop that in the chat. Did that in about an hour. How did it feel doing that live, Nick?
It was actually really, really enjoyable. You got to get used to talking,
while you're doing it, right?
Like
yeah, that's the hard part. Like, keep you trying to focus and explain your thought process at the same time. It's really easy to get locked into your head.
It is, yeah. The first time I tried to do it, I didn't talk very much. I just got really focused. And I started mumbling a lot, mumbling to myself.
Would you use OBS? Twitch?
Yeah. I used OBS and Restream.
Nice. Yeah, definitely a challenging. Definitely something that you have to train yourself to do.
Right.
Amy, you saying your brain doesn't work that way? Trying to talk while you're coding? Can barely breathe and code at the same time. Yeah. It's weird. It's just like practicing it. I mean, I've been doing these streams for, on and off for a little over like a year now. and I just recently got consistently doing it 5 days a week, but it's still like talking when you're not sure what the hell to talk about is kind of like, and then like trying to focus on something else at the same time. It's really like, it's really a discipline. It's really something that you got to get used to. From India runs and I appreciate Prashant and Sam for jumping on in the time zones that you are. It's I think 6 in the morning where Sam is in Nigeria, and it's what, like 9 o'clock, not even like 8 o'clock in Prashant's time zone.
8:39. Yeah.
So super early tomorrow, and we're running a little late here on the East Coast. Nick, Johan, and I are all on Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 at night. So I appreciate you guys jumping on it, going late and going early. One thing I love about Prashant's website is the transparent pricing that you put on here. I think most dev agencies don't really do this. I'll share what I mean. See if I can pull this. Hourly consultancy, $20 an hour. From $20 an hour, dedicated developer bucks a month, and then project base. So it does give you an idea of what it will cost. I think that's probably one of the biggest questions that clients come in with. How much and how long, which is the dreaded question that we get: how much and how long? Especially when they come in with a paragraph of what they want in their app and expect you to come up with a quote for them. So, but this does give you, at least in this way, like if you're starting at $20 an hour, you can say something along the lines of, well, I think the first few features of your app are going to be approximately 80 to 90 development hours. That will give them a sense of budget without you having to scope the entire project at the beginning, when oftentimes they don't even know what they really want. You got to kind of tease it out. And also quite an impressive catalog of apps and software that you've built in the 4 months that you've been running Zeroic. Did I say that right? Zeroic? Zeroic.
Yeah, that's Zeroic. Building heroic products without code, so zero code.
Online content marketplace in the form of a portal which facilitates a buyer of entertainment content to select through various genres and multi-languages. Alley by the Product Folks. Alley by the Product Folks is our in-house one-to-one mentorship platform that brings you freedom to join your community with experienced mentors and with the flexibility to choose and design your career. Is this all? This is Bubble. Yeah, this one is Bubble. It says it right here. The first one was Bubble 2. Bubble AWS. Social Tree. Social Tree is a SaaS integrated social networking platform for the nonprofit sector aimed at refining the way that the social sector functions. So like a lot of different, I don't think there's any limit to the types of industries that you can, very broad.
You will find use because software is used. I will be finding stuff that people build out across industries. So that's definitely there.
Very true. Now, Prashant, do you build exclusively in Bubble, or it seems like you use a lot of different kind of blended approach to app development?
So it depends. So some of them, I think the last slide features our shop catalog, whatever we have done over there. Then apart from that, we're not yet updated what stuff on software, and more recently we are adopting Smart Suite. If you've heard about that solution, that's like what? Sorry.
That wasn't me. I'm not sure where that. I think there was an echo or something.
All right. Okay. So Smart Suite is something like what is possibly doing for Webflow. So they are trying to become the next big thing when it comes to data, so kind of replace Airtable. It's like something of an Airtable and ClickUp merged together to become Smart Suite. So it's really robust, and we try to get more stuff over there.
Very difficult to navigate through all the different no code options that are coming out.
Exactly.
There's
Every
just
day you have something new coming.
yeah, and you gotta be asking yourself as a someone who's building a business around this, which ones are worth my attention. I'm looking at Johan's screen right now. Johan is in the workflow tab, trying to see if I can I maximize this? Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the screens. I can't really comment on the workflows that you're building because it's too small.
I'm trying to build a daisy chain filtering system.
Ooh, that's ambitious.
You're building a what?
A daisy chain, I think it's called, right?
Yeah, you can go
Daisy
pretty
chain
deep
filter.
on the workflow tab. I think that's probably the most, like the design tab is pretty easy to navigate it when you're first approaching Bubble. As soon as you get to the and I think again, if you're coming in with a programming experience, the database is probably pretty intuitive, the data tab, but the workflows is really where Bubble does its own thing, right? So that's it. That's where it becomes like, okay, I need to learn how the hell Bubble thinks about this stuff, the logic. I think also something that I hear quite often from the developer, people who have development experience, is that like there's no branching, right? You have to use these conditionals as opposed to like branching different workflows based on conditional logic. That kind of throws people off. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. Amy's calling you out, Prashant, saying that you're flexing. Flexing with that design. Nick, what do we got here, buddy? Nick's definitely got some filtering stuff going on here. Looks like he's filtering by clothing type. Different clothing type options. Definitely got some images coming in. Again, I just want to reiterate, this is like 60 minutes. This challenge is 60 minutes. We're at 10:08. We started at 9:35. So they're doing all of this within a very short time period. Sam digging in Rapid API, it looks like. Now, I've never actually used, I found a few endpoints on, or a few API providers on Rapid API, but I feel like there's way more that I'm ignoring there. Looks like you can test and, like actually authenticate there too. I've never used it that way. I've just kind of used it as a library of API providers, but I feel like there's more to it than that. I feel like I'm not really using it to the full potential.
Definitely, I think this is the first time I came across that first or second time, and you could actually, just run a case over there. It's working for you, and then just get that.
Nice. Kind of test it out, almost like in Postman. It sounds like. Small Butterroll has a question here. What exactly does branching mean? Can you have a nested workflow in Bubble? I think I can explain branching. I think branching, and call me out in the chat if I'm wrong here, but my understanding of it is that if a certain condition is met, then your workflow or your code will branch to this different set of logic. as opposed to if the condition is not met, it'll follow one branch of logic. That's my understanding of it. And I often hear people criticize Bubble for not having that functionality. It kind of does. I don't know necessarily a nested workflow. It's not really nested. It's just one long workflow with actions, but you can skip actions based on a condition. You can skip or activate actions based on a condition. So in a sense, it's the same, but it's not as pretty to look at, in my opinion. Whether if you had like almost what would look to me like a mural board of like, okay, if this, then go down here, then follow these actions, so on and so forth. There's it's not visually the workflow tab. I think and I'm sure Bubble's working on this, but I think if it people would look at it more like branching if it would kind of show those different paths there, as opposed to just being text conditionals that you have to like click on each action to see. This is the best way that I can explain it. Amy's saying Nick's got these big square buttons, my favorite buttons. Nick's back in the wow, that is a confusing looking responce to that API
it's very long.
Holy hell, there is a lot of information coming back from that endpoint. I wouldn't know where to start. So you got a few arrays in there.
You and me both.
Okay. Amy, can you see their screens pretty clearly? Like as we're looking at this, can you see these, like the screen that I pull up? I'm not sure if it's too small or not. It's really small for me, so I can't. Normally I would like, dig into the expressions and stuff. It's pretty small, right? Yeah, sorry guys. I kind of fucked this up. I really should have left it alone instead of playing with it. Oh, there we go. Boom. There we go. All right, it's this option. All right, we got it back. There we go. All right, cool. Sam working that API, digging around. Sometimes authentication is the hardest part. In fact, authentication to me is always the hardest part. Once I get authenticated, it's normally pretty easy to navigate the information that comes back, or at least it's consistent. But the authentication to me is what changes quite a bit. People want you to authenticate in different ways, and like the API, I think tends to gloss over the authentication step in some cases. Now, pulling up Johan's website, right? Chatting about this before. Johan started building websites for small businesses, bringing their, I think it sounds like almost brick and mortar stores you were targeting, bringing their business online for companies that may not have known how to build their own website or sell their products online. Sounds like you started there and you've kind of pivoted into web applications and Bubble. But I think there's also like, you're probably coming in with a lot of experience around e-commerce and how to sell products online, which I think is, a useful background to come into.
Yeah, I definitely first off started by, creating WordPress websites. But as soon as I discovered Bubble, like I just fell in love and continued to doing that. So I haven't updated my website in like 2.5 years. So that's why it's there. I haven't had the need to, but yeah, I'm looking to kind of just focus on Bubble now, which is what I've been doing for the last 2 years or so. So just kind of like a quick update on the website needed.
I'm really curious about the transition from WordPress to Bubble. I've played in WordPress after I kind of already knew Bubble, and I was totally lost. It just seemed like there was like no direction, and I appreciate that it is open source software, and you kind of have to learn it yourself, and that's part of your job as being a free platform. But there was just so much to do. I could not get a handle on it at all.
Yeah, like you definitely need to kind of take your time with it at the beginning. I specialize in Elementor though. Elementor is kind of like a page builder, so that helped a lot. I couldn't build websites with Elementor on WordPress, to be honest. It just helps a lot and makes things faster. It gives you really SEO and performance scores. You can get 100 on that on each. So it's definitely good for like just plain old websites. But yeah, doing things that Bubble can do, it's definitely not as good.
Got you. So, in what situations would you kind of answered this already? But I want to make sure that I understood that. In what situations would you choose WordPress over Bubble?
So the strategy I like to kind of like tell my clients is, for your main website, do WordPress, right? If you can do WordPress for your main website for marketing purposes, for your purposes, because Bubble still has to do some growing in SEO, for example. But then if you have like any needs for an app, definitely build a subdomain for it, and just have your main app for attracting clients and leads in WordPress, and then in the subdomain have like an application. So for example, a restaurant would have its main website on WordPress, and then the backend stuff and ordering and all those things on Bubble.
Got you. Okay, so definitely websites. Now, do you find that it's superior to like some of the newer site builders like Webflow? Are there advantages there to using WordPress, or is it just like the familiarity that you have with the platform that you gravitate towards?
So you want to repeat that again? I kind of got lost in the train of thought here.
Sorry. Yeah, I know you're working. I think this is partly me distracting you guys as you're as you're doing this really complex, focused task. I was just saying like any of the newer website builders like Webflow. Do you think that those are better than WordPress, or do you like one better than the other, or do you not care?
Yeah, that's a really good question, to be honest. I think Webflow, in terms of design, like I've tried it only a couple of times, but in terms of design, it's definitely better than WordPress. But I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to preference. I think when I did the math, economically, it's cheaper to do it on Elementor, and you can do the same things that you can do on Webflow. But
Gotcha.
I know that Webflow recently just released a lot of new features that are very interesting, and they're, for example, they just released Logic, I believe, which just kind of makes it very similar to Bubble. Yeah, so it just depends on the user at the end of the day.
That's fair enough. I think use case is important. I think that there's always a platform or way of building something that you're going to be more comfortable with. Obviously I gravitate towards Bubble, but I've been kind of forcing myself out of my comfort zone to look at things like Flutterflow, which I know are better at building mobile native apps. It's just easier to build on Flutterflow, or Xano, for example. Like if you've got some tricky database operations or you're dealing with large volumes of data, Xano just handles data better than the native Bubble database, in my opinion. So there's always a use case for a different tool, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like whatever you're comfortable with, that's the tool that you're going to use. I imagine that's true even in coding too.
Exactly.
We got Nick's screen up right now, working on a pop-up. Haven't seen any other pop-ups, right? Nick's unique in his approach here. I figure that actually does make a lot of sense to me, being able to click on that and then just having a pop-up show up to kind of highlight the details of whatever it is that they're clicking on, the user is clicking on. I should call out that we are at the 15-minute mark. It's 10:20. We've got 15 more minutes of building.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my. I don't know.
15 more minutes, man.
15 more minutes. I guess that went fast. By the reaction to that, it seems like that went fast. Drop Johan's LinkedIn in the chat. Now I do kind of dread scoring these. It's I like sitting here and just kind of talking shit while you guys do all the work, and then when it comes to my job of actually scoring, I actually have to use my brain a little bit. And it's not that easy. I had a hard time scoring the landing pages because there was just so many. I couldn't believe what they got done in 60 minutes when we were doing the Discord challenge. I just couldn't believe like how good the designs were. In one case, it was even better than the actual Discord site. Discord, responsively, when you shrink Discord's actual website down, the buttons on the main page get weird and misaligned, and the text kind of rolls off one of the buttons. I actually thought that I was looking at, and when I saw one of the dude Nardo, I thought his site was the real Discord because his shit looked better than real Discord. And it took us all collectively like a few seconds to realize, oh no, that's not he's the one that even called it out. And he was like, dude, you shouldn't have said anything. We would have probably given you an automatic win. It just looks so good. But this is the first, definitely the first challenge that we've taken a look at least here on this stream, that's really focused on APIs and functionality beyond landing pages. And really, I think this is really demonstrating the flexibility in what you can do in such a short period of time. Now, and I always say, it's a constant challenge with Bubble's messaging and positioning of the product, that things are fast and easy, because I do think that does set the wrong expectations in a lot of cases. You don't want everyone to just think that it's going to be easy to build on Bubble. It's really not. There is a learning curve, and I think that sets bad expectations for clients too, who are looking to hire a freelancer and they hear, oh, it's built on Bubble, you're going to finish this in like a week, right? No, we still need to figure out your specifications. It's still going to take time to understand what your idea is. And I don't think, maybe showcasing these challenges is probably not doing anything to combat that argument that I make, but I still feel like, this is an honest and, interesting way to take a look at what you can build on a platform like this. Roasting Discord for dinner, huh? I was just impressed that Nardo's website looked better than Discord. Like that was couldn't tell the difference between the two sites. Honestly, any of them that they built, I could not tell the difference. I couldn't tell that I wasn't on the real Discord site, which also brings up the interesting idea of like, how easy it is to scam somebody if you've got the URL and you hit, hey, message from Discord, and it brings you to some random site. Like how close they got to it. It's really easy to trick somebody into thinking they're on the real site. That was one of the things that crossed my mind too. If they did this in 60 minutes and I couldn't tell that I wasn't on Discord, imagine how easy it is for to trick somebody into thinking they're on the wrong site, steal your information. Spitting it out. I guess I'm talking a lot of shit here. Okay, I guess I am. Chat seems to Seems to think so. All right, we've got the last 10 minutes here. Last 10 minutes, moving to Nick, the Brad store. Like that? Rad Stream, the official store of the Rad Stream. Nick's definitely got those pop-ups working. Sam going the reusable element route. Interesting. We got a reusable header here, it looks like. Little Hobo, thanks for joining. Oh shit, I think we lost somebody. Did we lose Prashant?
Did we lose somebody?
Oh, did I kick him off the stream? I think I did. Oh,
Oh
there
no.
he is. He's back. Hey Prashant, sorry about that, buddy. I think I toggled the wrong screen and kicked Prashant off. We got you back. There we go. Checking out Johan again. Johan's spending a lot of time in this workflow tab. There's some serious functionality going on here. I can't imagine what he's building with all of these events and workflows here. Probably going to be some pretty. It looks pretty advanced. I didn't think there was that much to do as far as searchability and filtering goes, but he's got some wild stuff going on in there.
Can you not click on reusable elements? I guess not.
Say that again?
I guess you can't click on reusable elements. Learn something new today.
Yeah, there's no. I don't think creating. You can't create a clickable event off of a reusable element. I think you have to do it from whatever you want to do. You have to do it either from like a custom state or URL or something that happens actually in the reusable element. For anyone that doesn't know, reusable elements are like its own little page, kind of. So you have to be. They definitely speed the. They're definitely more efficient to work with. So reusable element, for anyone that's not familiar with Bubble, is like you create an element one time, like a header and a footer, and then you can use that on multiple pages throughout the app. But the logic kind of lives in itself, right? You can't refer to any other elements that are on the page from the reusable element, but you can do things like create states that refer to, you can refer to the state of the reusable element that's on the page. That was a really long-winded, confusing way to explain that, but it's very, very handy for performance reasons. Loading the app actually page loads quicker with the more reusable elements you have. I think that's why AirDev, which is a pretty well-known development agency, and specifically with Bubble, they built Canvas, which is their platform based using mostly, I think, like 90% reusable elements. Almost everything is reusable elements. But I think the downside with that is that it's really difficult to modify once they're done. Once they build an app for you, they can do it very fast and efficiently, and probably cost effectively. But once you need to make modifications, you're kind of like you're lost because they built it the way that like the AirDev way to do it.
You can actually modify it. I guess the best thing is to copy, paste, and then you modify it to whichever suits you, or whatever custom or whatever workflow suits you.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've had a hard time. I've had a few people that came on with they came through a bubble boot camp with a app that they was built by AirDev, and I had a hard time figuring out what the hell was going on. It was really all over the place. Anybody can try small butter roll. Has anyone tried the Bubbles component library?
It's so limited. It's so limited. Like, I don't know. No comment.
I need reusable, or I need custom components before I'm really gonna start using it.
Yeah, I think what Bubble was trying to do with this, and I'll just chat about this for the last 5 minutes that you have. I'm not going to talk to you guys. I know you're probably trying to finish up. So the last 5 minutes, I'll just talk about the Bubble component library. And what I think their perspective is, they really were going for somebody that's very new to Bubble. And they talk about this thing called the blank page effect, where it's just like there's a blank page and you don't know where to start. And the components library was kind of a prompt to say, hey, look, drag something onto the screen so you can see how this page layout stuff works. You can, if you're building a simple web landing page, it's easy to put like a pricing section there. So I think it was really more for people that are new to Bubble. So that they don't have to, build an entire page structure themselves the first time that they're getting in there. But I agree with you, Johan, that it's really not, there's not much there beyond some basic landing page elements yet. If you're looking for more components, custom components, you're probably going to look to something more like Atomic Fusion, where there's like these very advanced, very pretty dashboards and things that you can drag onto the screen, and it's not a template. And I think that's my biggest thing with I don't love working with templates, and that's also why I complain about working with Canvas too. I think there's just so much to learn about the way that somebody else built something that it's really just, I'd rather build that myself and understand my own logic as opposed to having to learn somebody else's. But I think Atomic Fusion broke it down in such a way that they're not building an entire page for you necessarily. It's very easy to take a template from Atomic Fusion, put it on the screen, get the styling that they had, make modifications to it. All the elements are named very beautifully. There's no like group XXXXXX or group YZZZ, which happens a lot with the templates on the marketplace. But I think they're very similar. Like the Bubble Components library, Frames, and Frames is another plugin that helps with the design component, and Atomic Fusion. They're all kind of serving different needs, and those I've used them all. But I think that my favorite, my kind of go-to is Atomic Fusion, because I'm not the greatest designer, right? And I lean on Atomic Fusion's library pretty heavily for design stuff. So
I guess I'm going to be the one to be laughed at the end of the competition.
No one's gonna laugh, Sam. This is all pretty difficult stuff to do, and it's pretty difficult when the pressure's on and you're doing it live. So don't sweat it. We're all starting somewhere, right? Has anyone tried the Google Calendar API from Ayush Gar? Thanks for joining. I've worked with the Google Calendar API. Actually, I've done it. There's a plugin in Bubble that you don't have to do the whole OAuth thing if you don't want to. If you want to use the plugin, it makes it a lot easier. I've also done it just kind of as a challenge for myself, because I had never used OAuth or authenticated using an OAuth method before. So I did connect to the Google API directly through the Bubble API connector. And it's, there's so much that you can do with it. I think that there's, like plugins are great, but I think I've never regretted going the direct manual API route, because normally there's, the plugins have been configured for a few endpoints that do, certain limited functionality that, whoever the plugin designer thought was important. But there's really no limit to what you can do if you're directly integrating with you know, an API, especially Google Calendar. You can do a lot there. You can create events, obviously. Yeah. So, but yeah, it took me a while to figure out how to do authentication. I think that was one of the ones that took me a while to figure out. All right, guys, we are at 10:35. Hands off, hands up. I don't know. We're at 10:35. So let's take a look at what we have here. Let me first get rid of the screen here. All right, so how should we do this? I think what I'll do is we'll start from the top here. I've got my scoring here. Share my screen now. I've got my scoring card here. And again, just to kind of reiterate the scoring method, we're going to do presentation of the display as a score of 1 to 5. Prashant was the first to connect or to initialize the API call, so he's going to get 2 bonus points for that. And we're going to have the searchability and the filterability of the data, and see who put the most effort, I guess, into that particular part. All right. Nick, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, no.
Because you're laughing.
Baseline of for all this.
All right, so let's start with Nick's screen.
Do you want me to send you the link, or?
I think I could just kind of look at it through your well, you know what we should do is let's take a look at everyone's, I guess, and we'll do the scoring at the end. Yeah, that's a better way to do it. I remember thinking that the last time. Let's just take a look at everyone's. Help me out in the chat too. Ayush, I know you have a few questions about the Google Calendar API. We'll get back to that at the end, but help me with this scoring too. Let's keep me honest here. All right, Nick, can you share? I have your screen, but we're looking at Restream. There we go.
There we go.
All right, so you want to just take us through what you got here?
Sure. So I have the Rad Store with ability to search for some product categories, and we'll pull in a list of products. Also, click on the products, and it'll pull up a detailed view with not very many details, but you can see how many are in stock. And then you can also free search. So.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, that's as far as I've gotten so far.
Very cool. How did you decide which endpoint to work with?
I Googled for an endpoint that was available, and I got this Sheen REST API. So there's this store, Sheen, that just has a bunch of clothing and like a ton of clothing products. And so then on Rapid API, I was able to look at the different calls, and it sends a lot of data back, as you saw. So I wasn't able to see like where a product description came back. I'm sure it's in there, but I spent a lot of time looking through those.
Yeah, definitely seemed like there was a lot to sort through with the data that was coming back. Yeah, that must have been tricky. But I mean, you got both. So let me just call this out too. You've got both a search box that I think is filtering for the results that are coming back, right? You put dress in there, and then you got a bunch of dresses back. So and then also the buttons here, like you can filter by these buttons as well.
Yeah, if you select the button and have the button selected, it'll go to whatever the button is. If you clear that out, then it'll just go to whatever is in the search box.
Nice. Okay, so there's two like filtering and searching mechanisms here. That's awesome. Amy wants the hat. Which hat was it? When you click, what happens when you click hats here?
Solid knit hat.
Solid knit, $350. Not even a bad price.
Yeah, really, $350.
Not bad. All right, very cool. Real clothing information coming into this app, searchable and sortable. Well done, my friend. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, Sam, we're gonna check you out.
Nah.
Talk to me, baby.
All right, so I had issues with the API basically, so there was really nothing much I could do. I mean, I've been trying to figure out a way to connect with the APIs, but I'm sorry.
All right, no, there's nothing to apologize about. We're all friends here.
You,
We're
you,
not
you
mad at
know,
you.
I did something similar. I built an app this close, but I had to make use of. I formulated my own data myself, and the next thing I did was to uh, filter the elements using the search type. That's what you can see there. But then I found out that I didn't try it out with API, so it makes me kind of, I would say, a little bit itchy there. So
Understood.
as you can
Can
see,
you
there's nothing much.
show the preview of the function the page that you did build, because the page looks like a nice clean setup. Got you. Okay. Well, it's hard to see without the data, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, understood. All right, Sam. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, Johan. Let's check yours out.
Let's go. So I spent a lot of time AC change filtering, which I probably shouldn't have done. I probably should just went, the easy way out and just use the filtering option.
Nice.
I didn't even build out any filters. That's the funny part. But anyway, I'll just reload it quick. I picked the ASOS API. It was the first one that came up. And yeah, I just grabbed the data. And the first thing that I did was the sort by. So you can sort by name, descending or ascending,
Nice.
the price, and the brand name. And if you notice, it's pretty fast, and that's why I like it. It's super quick. Fast,
Yeah.
and you can also search by the product name, unless I didn't finish that call, maybe. Yeah, I forgot to add that flow there, but
Got you. Okay. Now, is it giving us the full list of products by default, and then you filter it out via the search box or the drop down there? Is that the idea?
yeah, exactly. So right now you're getting a full list of products, and then you will search. There's no filtering actually; it's just a sorting.
Got you.
I didn't have time to do the filtering, unfortunately, but this was working. I don't know why it's not working.
I think you just spelled Reebok wrong there. I think it just has 1 O.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, but I know why. Never mind. I didn't put pains. Oh yeah, sorry, and the pop-up. I almost forgot to show you guys the pop-up.
All right. Yeah. I was
I
gonna
did all
say. I
that.
feel like you got some details there. Nice.
And
Can you flip
you
through images?
click next.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, and this is a link to the ASOS website. Yeah, but you have to add the ASOS.com at the beginning, which I didn't.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Good stuff, man. Love the toggle.
Nice.
I love the toggle descending, ascending, pop up details.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Great job, man.
Thank you.
All right. Last but not least, Prashant, show us what you got, man.
Sure. So the editor, mostly I just went all out on design, just put something up that's looked good. So the functionality is like mostly towards the end. I kind of did not have time for that, but I got sorting, I've got filtering, some basic details, and I tried to set up a cart functionality as well, which adds products to your cart. So that's about it on the functionality. I'm able to get for search terms which is provided by the API already. Just had to add another query in the endpoint, and sort by is for freshness, price, and ascending and descending. So I'll show you the UI. Uh, yeah, that's how it looks.
Oh wow.
Uh, I tried pagination, but no time for that. But anyway, so if I want to, search for say jeans or something, takes some time. I even tried out getting up lottery files for putting up preloaders here, but yeah. So this is how it generally looks. We've got the product name, we've got the brand over here, the price, and the option to add to cart. So if you just see there's a zero here, it's just trying to add some styling to it. But once you click on the add to cart, it one sec. Okay, this is weird.
Yeah, small butter roll is calling out your fixed header, man. That's pretty wild. You got a
Yeah.
floating header at the top. Pretty cool.
Okay, this is where this should have worked. I don't know why.
Well, you got a ton done in that time. That all looks really, really good.
60 minutes, guys. We did this
Yeah,
in 60
minutes to get real data in like that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So I got some CSS because I've used that in the past, and now every project that I do, I kind of like the zoom functionality when a user hovers on top of it.
Bro,
So
now you're just showing off, bro. Can you can you show us how you did that, Prashant? I'm real curious to see how
Yeah,
you put CSS in there.
So I've got a pop-up called hidden variables. That's a practice that I generally use. And so over here, basically the attribute ID and what happens on hover. So there's a scale over here and a transformation time for 0.6 seconds.
Oh man, can you drop that CSS code into the chat? I'd love to use that because I was going to ask you how you did that hover effect on everything.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like native bubble. That was my first thought.
Yes. So I put it in the chat if you're able to see it.
Cool. I'll drop that in the main chat here too. All right. Prashant, anything else here?
That's about it.
All right.
That's
All
what
right.
I managed right now.
Nice.
Did we lose Sam?
I think so. Yeah, I think we lost Sam.
Oh, we lost Sam. All right, Sam. If I'm hang on, let me just see if. All right, Sam. If you're still watching, jump back on, man. I don't know if we can go through the scores. Is it worth it to go through the scores? I think Prashant, you're I would. That's a good site, man. That's a good site. And I don't want to take away anything from.
I mean,
they're pretty
you
wild.
got it, man.
So I think again, everyone sick job. I think it takes a lot to put your skills on full display like this. Shout out to Small Butter Roll, Amy. Thanks everybody for jumping on. But yeah, this is a great challenge. And again, I'm just always super impressed with what people can do in 60 minutes with this. So great job all around. Thanks again.
Yeah,
and we probably will come back for another challenge with the open AI stuff. I think that would have been that's going to be a fun one to do too. Any last shout outs or anything you want to call out before we jump off? Anybody from the chat?
No, just thanks for doing this. It's very fun, being able to see what other developers can do in 60 minutes. It's awesome, and I'm looking forward to any future challenges that you may do.
Yeah, it's a great series. I mean, just keep them coming. It's a lot of fun just to watch and be a part of.
Good stuff, guy. I appreciate that.
In fact, the previous one, I think when you had Ankur and other people on it, I had watched that for a while, and that kind of motivated me to sign up for something like this whenever you were having another session.
Man,
this is probably the first time I'm having to time myself, and that's sort of that gets the challenge aspect. At the same time, I'm able to see what kind of functionalities other people are bringing in. So that's really nice.
How'd you guys feel coming in? Are you nervous when you do this approach, or is it just just whatever, because you all seem like very like the same thing here. Like you're all talking as you're building too.
I was nervous because I'm not comfortable with APIs like overall. I'm much more comfortable with like building the workflows and like that part's fine. But when it comes to like I don't know how to use Postman. I don't know any of that. I'm being honest here. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was just like, I'll take it as it comes. Like whatever happens,
And I think also too, like I think where this community diverges a little bit is like you don't need to know everything. I don't think we have the same pressure like to feel like we have to know every single thing in every area. You can be good in one area and still build something useful, have like a useful skill set that people are willing to pay you for. Like I just know that there's certain things that I will never be good at. I will never be good at design. You know what I mean? But I know a lot of people that are. So, why not? We're going to help each other.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks again. We're going to do more of these. So check us out, the Rad Stream. Thanks, everybody, again, for jumping on the chat. I will talk to you guys next week. All right, everybody. Have a great night and morning if you're on the other side of the world.
Thanks, John.
Peace.
Nice meeting you guys.
Bye bye.